Hi friends, this is Ikra. Welcome to my channel. In this video I will elaborate some of the historical facts and history in Quran. On number 1 is paper money. Paper money was first used in China in the 11th century. Jiaozi was a form of promissory banknote which appeared around the 11th century in the Sichuan capital of Chengdu, China. Numismatists regard it as the first paper money in history. Quran in chapter 18 and verse 19 says, "Even so, we awakened them, so that they may ask one another." A speaker among them said, "How long have you stayed?" They said, "We have stayed a day, or part of a day." They said, "Your Lord knows best how long you have stayed. Send one of you to the city, with this paper money of yours, and let him see which food is most suitable, and let him bring you some provision thereof. And let him be gentle, and let no one become aware of you." Warak, in Arabic means paper. Warikikum, means your paper money, not coins. So the Quran says that paper money was known and used long before the Chinese. On number 2 is calendar. 1400 years ago the Arabs used the lunar calendar. The Quran portrays that the solar year was used before the lunar year. Skeptics claim that whoever wrote the Quran made a mistake. The lunar calendar was invented first by the Sumerians. Today archaeologists discovered that the solar calendar was first used in the Stone Age, thousands of years before the Sumerians. Quran in chapter 18 and verse 25 says, "And they stayed in their cave for 300 years, and increased by 9. On number 3 is digital books. 1400 years ago people wrote on animal skin and early versions of paper. Today we can transform paper books to digital form. They are called digital books because at the lowest level they are just zeros and ones. But once it is in digital form it can no longer be read from paper, it has to be read from a special electronic device. This was known recently, however this was portrayed in the Quran 1400 years before it was discovered. In paradise believers will watch their history on earth with a digital book. Quran in chapter 83 verse 19 to 21 says, "And how can you know about Elyun?" A digitized book, watched by the close ones. On number 4 is Pompeii. Archaeologists discovered the remains of an old town in Italy which was hit by a volcano 79 AD. The fast-moving pyroclastic flow caught its citizens off guard. The hot pumice, ash, and debris quickly hardened around people's bodies, like a mold, preserving their final act. Quran in chapter 36 and verse 67 says, "And if we will, we can freeze them in their place, so they can neither move forward, nor go back." On number 5 is north. Historically several conventions were used to set directions on maps. Different conventions pointed to different directions. Today all maps use the same standard. Up is north, right is east, left is west and down is south. This means if you are standing then the sun rises to your right and the sun sets to your left, you are facing north and behind you is south. Quran in chapter 18 and verse 17 says, "You would see the sun, when it rose it shone into their cave from the right, and when it set it shone from the left, as they lay in the midst of the cave." That was one of Allah's wonders. He whom Allah guides is truly guided, but he whom he misguides, for him you will find no directing friend. On number 6 is Petra, the lost city. Petra is believed to have been settled as early as 9000 BC, and it was possibly established in the 4th century BC as the capital city of the Nabatean kingdom. The Nabateans were nomadic Arabs who invested in Petra's proximity to the trade routes by establishing it as a major regional trading hub. The city is accessed through a 1.2 kilometers long gorge called the Sikh, which leads directly to The Khasne, famous for its rock-cut architecture and water conduit system. Quran in chapter 15 and verse 80 to 83 says, "The people of the rock also rejected the messengers. We gave them our revelations, but they turned away from them. They used to carve homes in the mountains, feeling secure. But the shout struck them in the morning." On number 7 is flight. 1400 years ago the highest altitude a man could reach was the height that he could jump. But the Quran foretold that man someday will reach the sky. Quran in chapter 29 and verse 22 says, "You cannot escape Allah's might, on earth or in the sky. And you have no protector and no savior besides Allah." On number 8 is Noah. The Bible insists that Noah's flood was global and no one survived except the believers who boarded the ark with Noah. However, the Quran says that the flood was local and all nations other than Noah survived. Local floods are very common, however there is no scientific evidence for a global flood. But stories of a global flood are found in many ancient cultures all around the globe. If it were a global flood, as portrayed in the Bible, no one would have survived other than the believers who boarded the ark with Noah. There would have been no disbelievers who didn't board the ark and survived. However, the Quran says something else. It says that there were disbelievers who didn't board the ark and still survived. Quran in chapter 11 and verse 48 says, "It was said, O Noah, disembark with peace from us, and with blessings upon you, and upon communities from those with you. And other communities we will grant prosperity, and later we will hand them painful torture." On number 9 is Ubar, the flooded city. 1400 years ago, people thought Ubar was destroyed when giant rats attacked a water dam and caused a flood. But today we know that this is false. Modern archaeology revealed the true cause of the collapse. Quran in chapter 34 and verse 15 to 16 says, "In Sheba's homeland there used to be a wonder, 2 gardens, on the right, and on the left. Eat of your Lord's provision, and give thanks to Him. A good land, and a forgiving Lord. But they turned away, so we unleashed against them the flood of the dam, and we substituted their 2 gardens with 2 gardens of bitter fruits, thorny shrubs, and meager harvest." On number 10 is Venus planet. The Christian Bible says that at the birthplace of Abraham people worshipped the sun, moon and stars. Archaeologists found evidence that those people worshipped the sun, moon and star of Venus. However, today astronomers affirm that this star of Venus is actually the planet Venus, not a star. The Quran correctly describes it as a planet. Quran in chapter 6 and verse 74 to 79 says, "Abraham said to his father Azar, 'Do you take idols for gods? I see that you and your people are in evident error.' Thus we showed Abraham the empire of the heavens and the earth, that he might be one of those with certainty. When the night fell over him, he saw a planet. He said, 'This is my Lord.' But when it set, he said, 'I do not love those that set.' Then, when he saw the moon rising, he said, 'This is my Lord.' But when it set, he said, 'If my Lord does not guide me, I will be one of the erring people.' Then, when he saw the sun rising, he said, 'This is my Lord, this is bigger.' But when it set, he said, 'O my people, I am innocent of your idolatry. I have directed my attention towards Him who created the heavens and the earth, a monotheist, and I am not of the idolaters." On number 11 is skydiving. The Quran portrays humans free falling from the sky. Skeptics claim that whoever wrote the Quran made a mistake. Humans will never fall from the sky. Today this became a sport known as skydiving. Quran in chapter 22 and verse 31 says, "Being true to Allah, without associating anything with Him. Whoever associates anything with Allah, it is as though he has fallen from the sky, and was snatched by the birds, or was taken down by the wind to a deep place." Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel.